Hello, welcome to my channel, I'm glad to see you. The SNES was my second console ever, and one that stuck with me over the years. So I wanted to show you guys a few of my favorite SNES games that you might not know about. And I want to propose a challenge. If there's one game here you never heard about before, I get a like on the video. If there's two, I get a subscribe. And if there's three or more, you share this video with a friend that also likes the SNES. Deal? And if you know every single game on this list, let me know in the comments so I can compliment you personally. Then let's get to it. Racing games were quite popular in the 16-bit era, thanks to the efforts of Sega with OutRun. Many other companies tried to chase that high with their own games. One that was very popular in Europe, and especially in Brazil where I lived, was Top Gear, Top Racer in Japan. But for my money, Lamborghini American Challenge was the best of the bunch. The game was fast, and it gets faster as you upgrade your vehicle. And I like how the car handles, and how it swivels in the track. The camera isn't glued to the back of your car, but the mechanic that makes this game stand out is the betting system. Before each race, you can bet with the opponents, and whoever wins takes the pot. It's a great risk versus reward system that makes you feel $1,000 whenever winning big. I'm constantly replaying this game, it's a lot of fun. If you like old school races, you should give this game a go. Another Tidus game, huh? How come the company that made some of the worst games ever, like Superman 64, made two of my favorite SNES games? Go figure. This was one of the few cartridges that I actually owned back in the day. I survived mostly on renting, and I'm glad I had it, because I love this game, I played to death. So much so that it came as a surprise when I realized not many people actually know about it. Prehistoric Man is a neat little platformer in which you control Sam, the caveman. It's your job to chase the dinos that stole your tribe food, fighting many other enemies along the way. This game does so many things right, the gameplay is tight, the soundtrack is unbelievably good. I constantly use this game's songs on my videos. There's a lot of secrets in the levels, so if you want to 100% it, you gotta pay close attention. And there's a lot of variety. At some point you have to use a hang glider to navigate a level. There's some different weapons as well, like a spear you can use to make platforms. Anyway, I could gush about this game all day. Give it a chance, I bet you'll enjoy it. Considering how Joey Mac was successful in the States, it truly surprised me that barely anyone talks about Kongoscaper. This game is a spin-off on the Joey Mac franchise, with a much cuter art style in my opinion. You control this cute monkey boy trying to rescue your monkey girlfriend that was kidnapped by a vampire of all things. It's a very traditional platformer, but it has a few spins that I enjoy. For one, you can juggle the enemies in order to break a few blocks in the stage to reveal different paths. I also like how if you manage to collect enough power-up gems without taking hits, you enter this Super Saiyan mode. It not only makes you invulnerable for a few hits, but also makes the character jumps way higher. The game gets quite difficult on the later levels, and you need to be way more precise with your jumps, but it's quite enjoyable nonetheless. Give it a go. Quite a little enjoyable list of games so far, right? Well, let's change that. Jurassic Park 2 The Chaos Continues is a very tough game, unjustly so at times, but it's one that I never could put down. I always want to know how far I could go, and despite owning the cartridge back in the day, I was never able to beat it. Luckily you can choose which level you want to play at the beginning, so even without being able to beat the game, I saw everything it has to offer. And it's great, even when it's bullshit. It's one of those games you have to memorize the levels, and I know ain't nobody got time for that nowadays, but try it out anyways. Save states are your friend. And let me know in the comments later how it went. If you managed to pass the first stage, you already have my respect, believe that. Shoplifter is my favorite Master System game ever made. I played it for hours and hours. So of course when I found out there's a Super Nintendo game of the franchise, I had to try it out. And despite not being as amazing as the Master System game, it's still pretty great. The fundamentals are all here. The helicopter controls great, the level design is pretty good. It's the constantly enemies respawning that upsets me. You have to go back and forth constantly to rescue the prisoners of war. So having to deal with enemies respawning gets old real fast. So eventually start with straight up ignoring them. If it wasn't for that, I'd say this would be a perfect follow-up to the arcade and Master System original. But despite all that, it's still a great game that you should try it out. I hear you say, what do you mean Power Rangers game is a hidden gem? I played it constantly back in the day. But hear me out, I'm not talking about the beat 'em ups games, which were great by the way. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Fighting Edition is actually, and you won't believe this, a fighting game. And a pretty great one at that. A true Street Fighter 2 killer if I ever seen one. I'm joking about the last part obviously, but still this game is truly a masterpiece. It's not the most balanced fighting game ever made, but they rarely are, let's be honest. This game looks great, plays great, and it's a love letter to the old school Power Ranger show. It's super fun to see which Megazord is the best in a 1v1 scenario, and watching the enemies explode in the background as you do your cool guy pose never gets old. Seriously, give this game a chance, especially if you enjoy fighting games. Your fighter balls and dragon punches are all here. The Street Fighter 2 knowledge transfers easily. What is up with Power Rangers having amazing fighting games? I'll never understand. Nowadays, the concept of licensed games have been stained by terrible releases throughout the years. But it wasn't always like that. Back in the day, whenever you saw, for example, a cartoon game made by Capcom, you rejoiced. And it wasn't just Capcom that always hit the nail in the head when it came to licensed goodness. Take The Mask for example, it was huge in the 90s, until it wasn't. And thanks to its popularity, we got The Mask for the SNES, and I love this game to bits. It's so faithful to the character, the animations are full of charm and pizzazz. It's a mix of platforming and beat 'em up, with some maze-like stages. And you can see the developers were having fun with this game, where some mechanics like having to sneak is very funny in here, when it's usually just annoying in other games. Super fun game, clearly in the spirit of The Mask as a whole, I recommend it. Know and love Trunks for the DBZ series, but what if instead of being Vegeta's and Bulma's badass son from the future, he was a little scamp of a devil causing mischief on Earth? That's essentially the premise of this game, and the comparison to Trunks is clear to anyone who can see. This game is exclusive to Japan, which is the main reason not many people heard about it, but that should be a problem for enjoying it, as side-scroller platformers are very universal in their playstyle. You can punch, jump, throw bombs, and even shoot guns if you grab the power up in the level. The story is very simple. An angel is fed up with you and start hiding assassins to get rid of you, as one does. So you gotta platform your way into survival, and even ride carts in some instances. Very fun game. Now here's one that caught me by surprise. If you saw my last video, you know I'm fond of title games. And one that I never really got into was Chase HQ. Not because I disliked the game, but because I never found a good version of it. Every version I had played up until this point were very bad, and emulating the arcade original without a wheel is awkward. But then I decided to give Super Chase HQ a go, and I was surprised at how well it plays. It does a few things differently from the original, as you can see by the first person view, but I quite enjoy the changes. It makes it a bit different, without losing what makes the classic great. They even put a few cutscenes between the missions, to tie the story together. Good gameplay, great sense of speed, I just wish the NPC cars animations were a bit smoother. But other than that, it's a good time. Aero Fighters, or Sonic Wings in Japan and Europe, is a great shmup on the SNES. And despite not being the best version of the game, that will be Sonic Wings Special on the Saturn in my opinion, it's still a very good version that plays really well on the SNES with minimal slowdowns. It's a bit more tame than your regular bullet hell shmup, but that's a good thing if you just wanna have some fun. Not that it isn't challenging, it keeps you on your toes, especially on boss fights, but it probably won't pose a challenge for veterans of the genre. The only thing that annoys me a bit with the franchise is how you don't keep your weapons to the max power for long. You have to keep getting upgrades to have it at full blast. That's a bit annoying. But other than that, this game is a lot of fun, and if you like a casual shooter every now and then, you'll enjoy it. And that's it, 10 SNES hidden gems, in no particular order, and there's plenty more to cover in the future. So if you want to see more, let me know and I'll be happy to oblige. And if you like this video, please leave it a like and consider subscribing because I intend to doing many more like this one in the future. But that's it for now, bye bye.